Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. I'm your host, Dr. Aaron Ernst, and yes, it's the show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you can be set free from your health problems when you become your own physician and your own healer. We have a lot of information to talk about today, and the topic of the hour is all those crazy stones that sometimes we end up getting. Specifically, I'm going to talk about liver stones, kidney stones, gallstones, and the ominous effect of what they do to us. If you've ever passed a gallstone, you know what I'm talking, or well, it's true, technically, you can pass a gallstone, but if you ever passed a kidney stone, you probably know what I'm talking about. I have been told by some of the women in my life, mostly my wife, and some of the patients I take care of that are females, that the only pain a man can ever know that is as close to childbirth as possible is passing a kidney stone. And so I wish this over no man, but yet it says statistically that 1 in 4 men will deal with kidney stones at some point in their life. So I want to help you to A, prevent them from ever happening. B, if you're in the throes of a kidney stone issue, let's talk about it. And then C, some people just have these honking massive stones in their kidneys that are just hanging out there. And their doctors are saying stuff like, well, we'll just see what it looks like next year, and we'll look at it next year, and we'll look at it next year. So how do we dissolve kidney stones? We also have to talk about gallbladder stones. You know, for a lot of us, you may not even know that you have them. Or you had them and your physician or your MD or your surgeon said, well, you have a lot of stones, so you know what? We're just going to cut that gallbladder out. You don't really need it anyway, right? Actually, you do. Your gallbladder is extremely important for digestion. It regulates your cholesterol. It helps to kill down viruses and bacteria and parasites and pathogens, keeping your bowels clean. So unfortunately, if you have no gallbladder, then that's probably why you have issues with your blood pressure and your blood sugars and also your cholesterol and your triglycerides, because you really need bile and gall. So we have to talk about what happens when a stone is forming. Why are they forming? What does it mean? How do we get rid of them? And how do we do it painlessly, if that is a word, painlessly? So we've got a lot of stuff. And yes, this is your health hour. So maybe you're new to our show. Welcome. Maybe you're a longtime listener. I had an email conversation and actually a phone call with a radio listener. Asked Dr. Ernst, and he goes, Dr. Aaron, I've been listening to you for 5 years. Awesome. You know, we've been doing this now, almost 7 years, I believe. He goes, I've been listening to your show for 5 years. I've lost weight. I've changed my diet. I'm off 3 medications, and I just wanted to say thank you. Then I had another call with a listener who said, I've been listening to you for 2 years. I went to 2 of your webinars, and I remember you said you can get rid of diabetes. I just left my office from my doctors, and they want to put more medications into my body, and I'm going, I don't want to do that. So he calls me direct, says, can I start your program for diabetes? I love it. Okay, so if you're a long-time listener, thank you for tuning in and for joining us. If you're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, or wherever still is existing, right? Because sadly, a lot of them are like, what happened to my Twitter account? Poof! Parler is just now gone. So we're still streaming on as many as we're allowed to stream on. But hey, if you're watching online, hit that like, hit that share, give us some hearts and love. It helps the feeds to show everybody else, because we need to feed you with good information for healing. And don't forget, we have a ton of information for free. AskDrErnst.com. Recipes, tips, books, guides. If you have a health issue, type it into the search bar, and you're going to find a ton of information on how to get rid of it. Okay, so I want to start the topic of the hour with the whole concept of these stones that a lot of us get. And the 2 most common stones are gallbladder and kidney. But the one I want to talk about that nobody has addressed, and I guarantee you, even if you Google it, it's going to say that you're looking at a gallstone, is a liver stone. So you can have liver stones, you can have gallstones, you can have kidney stones. So we got to digest, how do we get rid of them? And I want to talk about, why are we getting stones in the first place? So here's sort of my golden rule for this. All of these areas that get stones in them have fluid naturally flowing through them. What flows through the liver and the gallbladder is bile, okay? It's a solution, it's a liquid that is basically full of enzymes and salts that help to digest food and also protein and get rid of viruses and bacteria. Well, your kidney, of course, is getting rid of urine and it's having blood flow through it. So we have to ask the question, why would we end up with a stone And I'm telling you, it means stagnation. It means that there's not enough fluid flowing through. So here's what I have to teach you today. How do we get those organs moving? How do we get the bile flowing? How do we get the kidneys moving everything through properly, and we don't end up with stagnation? A lot of it has to do with your diet. A lot of it has to do with your acidity. A lot of it has to do with medications you take. So that's the topic of the hour today. Woo! We did it. Now listen, also this morning I was doing a webinar, and maybe you missed it. It was on the top diets and ways to heal naturally. All right, if you missed that, I'm doing a repeat and a replay. We had over 200 people online. It was phenomenal. All right, so my replay of how to heal yourself, how to get off medications, how to heal is on February 6th. Okay, that's Saturday and roughly about 2 weeks or so from today. It's at 10 a.m. in the comfort of your home. And right now is when you register, 704-906-2094. Call it, text it, pick up that phone. Trust me, you're going to love this webinar. How to heal yourself, how to lose weight, how to get off medications, how to kick things like stones and diabetes and heart disease to the curb. 704-906-2094. It's the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. We'll be right back.
Sterling believes in the science of CBD. Here's 3 great reasons to choose Sterling CBD. Reason number 1, Sterling is pure CBD. Sterling CBD is made from pure CBD isolate. We remove all the THC and unnecessary compounds, leaving only pure CBD. Reason number 2, backed by science. The U.S. Anti-Doping Agency, USADA, has approved CBD for U.S. Olympic athletes, but they only approve pure CBD, like Sterling CBD. Reason number 3, our organic hemp is FDA approved. At Sterling CBD, we quality control test at every manufacturing stage. We start with organic hemp plants and track them to our FDA-registered food-grade extraction facility. Our pure CBD products include capsules, isolates, lotions, and oils. We even have CBD pet products. You can find Sterling CBD at drernstscbd.com. Use the coupon code Dr. Ernst for 20% off your order.
People are the heart of Jordan Essentials, and our products are the cornerstone. 100% of the population needs skincare in some shape or form, and of course there's a lot to choose from. So what makes Jordan Essentials different? We often like to say it's what we don't put in our products. We avoid harmful chemicals and pack our products with natural, botanical, beneficial solutions for you and your family.
How come there are people who drink a pint of whiskey a day for 20, 30 years, and at the end of it only 20 or 30% become cirrhotic? What happened to the others? And we speculated, we hypothesized, it's the enzyme, alcoholic dehydrogenase made by the stomach. Maybe it's different, maybe it's genes, maybe it's polymorphism. Mm-hmm. The answer appears to be coffee. If you drink that much alcohol and drink 1 cup of regular coffee a day, 20% reduction in alcoholic cirrhosis risk, 2 cups 40%, 4 cups 80%. It's not a license to drink heavily and drink coffee and protect your liver. You could still get Korsakoff psychosis, cardiomyopathy, pancreatitis, kill people on the road, ruin your marriage, but it does protect the liver. It's pretty amazing.
Here's a secret your grocery store does not want you to know. At ThriveMarket.com, get up to 50% off all your organic groceries, delivered to your door for free. Shop organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, and paleo. And get a free jar of coconut oil. Thrive Market. Wholesome products, wholesale prices. Get your free coconut oil today only at ThriveMarket.com.
Welcome back. Happy Saturday. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. I'm your host, Dr. Aaron Ernst, and what an incredible show topic we have for today. The stones that we sometimes deal with that cause problems with our health. I'm talking gallstones, kidney stones, and the newer, but they're not really new, liver stones. And unfortunately, a lot of you may have the gallbladder and liver stones without even knowing it. You don't really feel those as much unless they're really big and blocked. But I think you may understand that if you've had a kidney stone before, you go, oh, yeah. That was the time I was in the hospital and I was on a morphine drip. That hurt, all right? So we want to help you know, where do these things come from? How do you get rid of them naturally? How do you prevent yourself from ever getting them in the first place? And offer you assistance in the realms of your liver, gallbladder, and kidney health. And if you were tuning in just recently, we kind of launched a replay. It's going to be live, all right? It's not just replaying it again, but we had so many people on our webinar today, and the information was so fantastic that I thought, all right, maybe you missed that opportunity. I'm talking about protocols on how to lose 20 or 30 pounds in as little as 4 weeks. No diets, no exercises, purely metabolic enhancement. Flipping your fat switch genes on. So what happens is those fat-burning genes just go bam, and they turn on. We're talking about reducing inflammation and cutting things like cholesterol down fast, diabetes in 90 days, thyroid and other issues that you take medications for 60, 90 days. And it's all simple. You have to be your own physician. So you have to know what's the root cause. You need help finding that. So I'm going to show you the tests that you can get. Some of these things you can do at the comfort of your own home. We're going to review through the steps that are necessary for you to implement these changes. A, lose weight, B, get off meds, etc. And then we're going to seal the deal by showing you how you can become your own physician and heal yourself. So that is on Saturday, February 6th. It's at 10 a.m. in the comfort of your home, and the number is 704-906-2094. 704-906-2094. Call it, text it, and if you text its name and email, we have everything else. So what are gallstones? Okay, these are something that a lot of people deal with. It's estimated that 25% of women will deal with a gallstone issue at some point in their life, and about 20% of men will also deal with it. Gallstones specifically imply I'll call it a rock or a stone, if you will, or some sort of a conglomeration of material forming within the gallbladder. But the reason I said liver stones are an issue is you might say, oh, well, Dr. Ernst, my gallbladder was taken out when I was 40, so there's no way I can possibly get a gallstone. True, you'll get liver stones instead, because it's just, where is the stone? If the stone's in your liver, it's a liver stone. If the stone's in your gallbladder, it's a gallbladder stone. If it's in your pancreas, it's a pancreatic stone. Look, you can have that. If it's in your kidney, it's a kidney stone. If it's in one of the salivary glands, it's called a salivary stone. So why do we get these stones showing up? Well, often in the gallbladder, it's a formulation of calcium, cholesterol, and other, I'll call it, byproducts of digestion that sat there for too long, and just like anything else, it just starts to kind of come together and congeal, and your body will make it into a stone. Usually, we see gallstones more in people who have been doing crazy amounts of dieting, where they'll go like on a sort of restrictive, what's that one, 500 calorie sort of HCG diets, and they'll lose a tremendous amount of weight, and they'll cut back, and they only eat one meal a day, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh man, I have all these gallstones now. Or we see it with people that take medications. And this is going to sound weird, but the number one medication that makes you have gallstones is cholesterol-lowering drugs. And you might say, well, that doesn't make sense. I thought you said that stones were made of cholesterol and calcium, so if I get rid of cholesterol, shouldn't I have less stones? Yeah, but remember, the drugs get rid of cholesterol from your blood. But where does the cholesterol go? It doesn't just go like poof. It's just no longer in your blood. So where the cholesterol is it's in your bile and your gut. I know it sounds disgusting, but the drugs pull the cholesterol out of the blood and they put in the liver, and the liver's like, oh man, I got all this cholesterol now. Thanks, Lipitor, Crestor, Vytorin, Simvastatin. So what the liver does is it goes, what do I do with all this? It pushes it into the bile. But then your bile's like, why do I have all this cholesterol in me? This is disgusting. It mushes it together into a ball to try to hold it and get rid of it. But now remember, I said it's got to flow freely. So if everything's moving properly, it'll just pass right through. It goes in your bowels and out it goes straight to the toilet, and you'll actually defecate the cholesterol out. Now that's how it should work. So if your systems are clogged and toxic and your bowels aren't working properly, you keep reabsorbing the bile, and so you keep recycling this thick sort of calcium-based cholesterol bile through your liver, and all of a sudden it just goes bloop, and then you get a gallstone. So what causes all of this? All right, ready? Number one, if you have high blood sugars, meaning you're a type 2 diabetic or you're someone who's pre-diabetic. Look, I was traveling recently and I was driving up 95 from Florida to North Carolina, and there's a sign that said this, ready? 30% of Americans have diabetes and don't know it. And I'm like, what? That's a lot. Almost 1 in 3 people. So you got a 1 in 3 chance you have diabetes and you don't even know it. How would you know? You have to check your blood sugars. If your blood sugars are high, it makes your blood thick. It makes your liver inflamed and your cholesterol goes up, and therefore it makes all the fluids thick, like syrup. Think of it. If you have blood sugar like in the 200 range, you might as well think of like maple syrup being pumped through your veins and your arteries. It's hard. So the body's like, it's trying real hard. So everything gets inflamed. Cholesterol levels go up. Triglycerides go up. HDL goes down, and stones start stowing up in the liver and the gallbladder. Ladies, why is it more women than men? You know why? Because of estrogen dominance. Estrogen makes cholesterol go up. When estrogen is high, we tend to get all kinds of thick, sluggish bile. That's why the classic person who says, my gallbladder has been removed, is someone who's 40 and female and slightly overweight. I hate to say it, but it's not genes. It's just the fact that when women tend to not detox properly, their estrogen levels climb, they start to become estrogen toxic, and it leads to gallstones, high cholesterol, high triglycerides. Here's a huge one that causes stones in your liver and your gallbladder. If you're eating foods that you're allergic to, but I'm not saying allergic like, a pecan allergy that sends you to the hospital and you need epinephrine, allergic like sensitive. At a metabolic level, there is something called food allergies. And what I mean by that is you can eat spinach and maybe your nose starts running or you get a headache the next day, okay? That's food allergy, but not anaphylactic like bee pollen if you're stung by a bee, or peanuts or almonds or walnuts. If you eat them and all of a sudden can't breathe, that's anaphylactic allergy. Food sensitivity means this. You eat foods and your body doesn't like them. Inflammation goes up, reactivity goes up, and watch this. You get dehydrated when you eat a food you're sensitive to. And the dehydration thickens the blood, thickens the bile, and we start to see gallstones. Now watch this, okay? This is pulling from history. In 1968, Dr. J.C. Berman, MD, published an article in the Journal of Allergy and Infectious Medicine where he was able to relieve 100% of people's gallstones by having them cut out 3 foods from the diet for 2 weeks. Ready? Food number 1. Eggs. Food number 2, pork. Food number 3, onions. If no one ate eggs, pork, and onion for about 2 or 3 weeks, all their liver and their gallstone issues went away. Why? These guys have a lot of cholesterol, eggs, a lot of acidity and toxicity, pork, and there's specific acids in onions that help to make things kind of like congeal within the liver and the gallbladder. So this doctor said, no eggs, no pork, no onions, and all the gallstones, 100% went away. Now watch this. After everything removed and he had ultrasound showing all the gallstones were done, he's like, hey, just do this as a favor. Go back and eat some eggs, pork, and onions, and guess what happened? All the gallstones came back. 1968. And instead, here's what we do today. Oh, we'll just cut your gallbladder out. Okay, some other things that cause major problems for gallstones and liver stones. Low fiber diets. And here's why. Fiber is needed, not just to keep your bowels moving, but it's act like a magnet. If you have fiber in your intestines, it actually goes like this. Hey, liver, where's all the cholesterol? Let me take it. I want to get the cholesterol out of the body. I want to get the estrogen out. I want to get the calcium out. So fiber acts like a magnet to pull all the crud from your liver into the intestines. So if you have low fiber, you tend to be constipated, you tend to hold food for long periods of time, and you tend to not be able to naturally lower calcium and cholesterol and other sludge in the bile systems, and it just piles up in the gallbladder. Okay, another one, and this is huge. I guarantee you almost all of you have this. Low stomach acid production. Okay, low stomach acid. See, a lot of you might think, well, I have acid reflux, so isn't that a lot of stomach acid? Well, they found out, no, it's not HCl. Those are rotting organic acids from the foods that are sitting in your stomach for a long period of times. You do reflux and acid, but it's not hydrochloric. Hydrochloric acid is needed to clean, to break down proteins and fats in the stomach. So if you're low on stomach acids, This huge bolus of undigested proteins and fats goes into the small intestine, and guess where the gallbladder squeezes out its bile? In the duodenum, which is the small intestine. So if you got this huge sort of like glob of undigested food going into your small bowels, your liver goes and it squeezes all of that bile out. But here's the issue. When there's not enough digestion, lots and lots of bile starts coming out, and what happens is you tend to get an overproduction of bile, which can lead to stagnation, which can lead to stones. I think you would understand that when I say being overweight makes you more likely to have stones, because unfortunately, here's the thing with being overweight. It causes everything. It causes diabetes, heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, dementia. If you are more than 40% fat by volume, so if you weigh 100 pounds, but 40 pounds of you is fat, morbid obesity. And yet, guess what? 30% of Americans are obese. Wait a second. 30% of Americans also deal with diabetes. Wait a second. 30% of Americans also get gallstones, kidney stones, liver stones. Do you think there's a connection to this? Okay, and I talked about the cholesterol drugs. So that's the biggest thing that causes gallstones. Guys and ladies and also everyone listening, if you're on a statin drug, your risks of having stones are excessively high, because what it does is it pulls the cholesterol out of the blood. It forces it into the liver. The liver doesn't want it, so it forces it into the bile. If you're not eating enough fiber, you can't get it out of the bile, and bile is reabsorbed. So cholesterol is reabsorbed, and it just keeps piling up. Whoops, there's some music. You know what that means? Commercials are on the way, and it's also time for you to do one thing. Pick up your phone. 704-906-2094. What you're calling for is to register for a free webinar February 6th, 10 a.m. in the comfort of your home, absolutely free. How to heal yourself, how to get off medications, how to lose weight, you name it. 704-906-2094. It's the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. We'll be right back.
Sterling believes in the science of CBD. Here's 3 great reasons to choose Sterling CBD. Reason number 1, Sterling is pure CBD. Sterling CBD is made from pure CBD isolate. We remove all the THC and unnecessary compounds, leaving only pure CBD. Reason number 2, backed by science. The U.S. Anti-Doping Agency, USADA, has approved CBD for U.S. Olympic athletes, but they only approve pure CBD, like Sterling CBD. Reason number 3, our organic hemp is FDA approved. At Sterling CBD, we quality control test at every manufacturing stage. We start with organic hemp plants and track them to our FDA-registered food-grade extraction facility. Our pure CBD products include capsules, isolates, lotions, and oils. We even have CBD pet products. You can find Sterling CBD at drernstscbd.com. Use the coupon code Dr. Ernst for 20% off your order.
Today, Monticello has a population of 126. It's a small enough town, everybody knows everybody. There are no stoplights in Monticello, so if you're driving too fast, you're going to miss it. But if you happen to turn in, you're going to run across a great Protestant church that has services every Sunday morning. You can go to the post office, and the postmaster's name is Randy. He's always glad to see you. Everybody in town knows everybody. When you walk in the bank, you're called to by your first name. You're not just an account number. We've started the business there 10 years ago, and very slowly, surely, we've built up a business that actually reaches out and touches all 50 states and several foreign countries. At the turn of the century, diabetes was almost non-existent. But if you turn the clock up 100 years to 2000, we have a runaway epidemic of diabetes. When I went to school, nobody had ADD. I mean, you look at the modern school today, you've got kids taking medicine, and this is all driven off a diet. And it's so simple just to get back to the foundations of good, healthy diet, and by consuming, grass-fed beef, organic vegetables, getting away from processed foods. This is a paddock move. These animals are coming into this paddock. This has been at rest for probably 30 days. And as soon as they come in here, you can watch their habits. They're going to put their nose down. They're going right after high quality forage.
What I've done here today is give them a fresh strip of grass controlled by this tape over here. This has given them a very consistent ration from day to day. This is an example of what they're getting to eat right now.
But you can just observe the humor of the animals. This is the happiest time of the day. I call it ice cream and cookies. Looking down on the ground, on the landscape here, we have a lot of clovers. We got annual forages, perennial forages, and a lot of the native forages have come back. The blue stems, the Indian grasses, they're much more prevalent in June and July, but the old seed stock is here. But if we manage the landscape like it should be managed, 95% of the public has never heard of CLA, but it's one of the best kept secrets in agriculture in these grazing animals. You get it from grass-fed beef, grass-fed lamb, grass-fed bison. And you might ask, what does CLA do? A very unique compound, one of the best things you could consume from the standpoint of cancer. It's very effective against cancer. It's very effective against diabetes. Research out of Purdue has documented that. A lot of animal trials, now human trials. And most interestingly, it actually helps the body put on lean muscle and reduce fat. 90% of the cattle in this country or more end up going into a commercial feedlot where they're slowly converted from a grazing diet over to a starch diet. When you fill the animal full of starch, you completely change the chemistry of the finished product, and you end up with an omega-6 free ratio of 20 to 1, 18 to 1, and the CLA production is almost nil because of the starch diet.
I don't think that you can beat this example right here where the sun's energy is producing this grass, and this grass is producing these cattle without having any antibiotics, growth promotants, or grain fed to them.
Grass-fed beef is a unique opportunity for you to take control of your health. I've taken control of my health over the last 10 years. I feel better, I feel stronger. Our animals eat right, so you can too.
Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. I'm your host, Dr. Aaron Ernst, and yes, it's the show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you can be set free from your health problems by becoming your own physician. I'm on a bit of a high today. This morning, I got up at 4:30. Why? Because I had a webinar at 10 o'clock. And what does that mean? Woo, I had 200 people that I had to look through their history. We do these little surveys. We have you guys fill out a little caption that says, what do you want to heal from? And I saw everything. I'm talking like psoriasis and scleroderma. We had someone saying that they had Alzheimer's. They were wanting to fix that. Triglycerides, blood sugars, you name it. Irritable bowel, IBS. It was a massive list. And so then I go, okay, I got to come up with some content that I can teach people how to do this. Yes, I do this radio show every Saturday. So this is kind of like snidbits and tips. And I get to go, okay, here's how you can heal from this and that and this and that. But man, the power, I tell you, the power is the webinars. 1.5 to 2 hours, custom specific to you, to whatever you're dealing with, whatever your health issue is. The one we did today was on how to know which diet is the best diet for you to not only lose a ton of weight, but keep it off forever, how to actually detox properly, and what were the 3 core foundations of you fixing your health. So again, if you had psoriasis, these 3 things would fix that psoriasis. And if you had diabetes, these 3 things for that person would fix that. And if you had heart disease or high blood pressure, cholesterol, so man, you imagine I had to get up early. And I love it. I love what I do. So it's now a little after 3-ish. I think it's 3:30, 3:40-ish, something like that right now. There's no clocks in here. Have you ever noticed that? Like, no clocks. So we're talking about stones today. Oh, and listen, the reason I was talking all about the webinar is that you really do need to engage, okay? It's one thing to just listen to this and listen to this show weekly. But, I think they say knowledge without action is nothing. I can have a ton of book knowledge. I know everything I'm supposed to do, but I'm not doing it. But see, what you need to do is do it. It's kind of like, you have the owner's manual. Imagine if I was going to share with you 40 secrets to make $1 million in 2 days. You would go, oh, yeah, let me write them down. But then if you write them down and you just do nothing with it, like what a waste of time. So instead of giving you 40 secrets, here's 3 steps that you can heal, 3 things you can do, and just go do them. Okay, so if you want to join me for the next one, it's on the 6th of February. That is a Saturday. It's at 10 a.m. in the morning. Free, literally free. All you have to do is tell me what you want to heal from. I'll custom create and make it specific for you. And then you just hop on and off we go. So the number is 704-906-2094. Can you call it? Yes. My call team will pick up. Name, phone number, email. That's all they need. They'll give you a salutation. They'll say thanks, and you're good. Can you text it if you don't want to speak to a human being? Sure. 704-906-2094. And we just need your name and your email because your phone automatically comes through. But don't forget, because this happened last week. Here's what the text said. I want to register. I want to register. Register me. And we're like, okay, what's your name? What's your email? And so just help us out. Just send it straight over. All right, how do we get the gallstones that you may already have and the liver stones out of you safely and healthy? Number 1, you got to lose weight, okay? It's a fact, all right? And if you don't know how to lose weight fast, join me for the webinar. And also go back to last week's show because we talked about the top 4 diets that'll get you 10 pounds down in as little as 4 weeks. So you just got to lose weight. And remember, here's the thing. You don't lose weight by going to the gym. That's how you gain weight. You don't lose weight by dieting. That's how you lose 10 pounds and it comes right back. You lose weight by figuring out your metabolic type. Are you a fat burner, a carb burner, a protein burner, and what is your epigenetic trends? Are you a Mediterranean gene sourced? Because if you're a Mediterranean source, then you need the Mediterranean diet. But if you are someone that comes from sort of like the Asian source genetically, you don't need the Mediterranean diet. So there's tests today you can do with your urine that will tell you where your lineage comes from, and we develop a diet specific to you. And we want to make sure that we watch out for losing weight too quickly because remember I said rapid weight loss can cause gallstones. But here's the secret, guys. Ready? All of it is simply inflammation. So we want you to begin what's known the anti-inflammatory diet. And because we talked about the fact that if you have high estrogen, both men and women can have high estrogen, that causes gallstones, we've got to get you into lowering your estrogen levels. Men and women need to both lower their estrogen levels. Okay, so anti-inflammatory foods are phenomenal, and they're real easy. Ready? If they're natural, or they came from a plant that was actually rooted in the earth, meaning it's a living plant, not a plant like a factory plant, right? Well, my box of oatmeal came from a plant, Dr. Ernst. Well, no. Okay? High fiber foods, so all forms of vegetables, most berries in the fruit category, okay? Not bananas and peaches and pears and stuff like that, but blueberries and strawberries and blackberries. Nuts and seeds and various beans and legumes can drastically reduce your inflammation. Okay, but really the big powerhouses are the oils and the fats that you eat. So get rid of all the vegetable oils you can think of. Canola, Wesson, corn, get rid of them. Cotton seeds, all that stuff, gone. And we need them to be plant fatty oils. Okay, so that's avocado, chia flax, hemp, and things like coconut, right? Really good for getting rid of gallstones, artichokes, beets, and dandelion. All right, so you can get dandelion as a raw green leaf, and you can actually chop it up and put it in your salad and eat it. But a lot of people think it's bitter and they don't like the way it tastes, so just go get dandelion root and make a tea out of it. You can also make sure that you improve the bile flow by, again, beets and artichokes. They work really, really well. Coconut oil is a really good medium-chain triglyceride that pushes a lot of fats and bile and cholesterol out. So focus on those really good fats. But mostly get rid of dairy, get rid of wheat, corn, rice, oats, and vegetable oils. And now you're on an anti-inflammatory pattern that will help you to heal. So there we go. That's the gallstone effect and livers. We cleaned that out. We got a commercial break coming up. So once again, ready? 704-906-2094. 704-906-2094. That's my webinar on February 6th. Losing weight fast, kicking medications to the curb, and also getting you on track with what you want for your health goals for this new year. How much does it cost? Nothing. You just got to pick up the phone and call 704-906-2094. When we come back, kidney stones. What are they? Where do they come from and how to get rid of them? It's the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. We'll be right back.
So this is the difference between biodynamic and conventional farming. Let's look at the difference in vineyards here. You have very green grass and herbs and life growing, and then dead soil over here. So this is a conventional vineyard where they spray pesticides, they use a lot of tractors to pull up the soil. This soil is dead, it's dry. There's no life. This is Klaus's vineyard. It's farmed biodynamically. Everything is picked by hand and they don't use any chemicals. So there's life, there's green grass, everything grows. This is the big disparity between conventional farming and biodynamic farming, and you can see it perfectly side by side. We prefer this wine, of course, because this wine is dead. There's nothing living in it.
Sterling believes in the science of CBD. Here's 3 great reasons to choose Sterling CBD. Reason number 1, Sterling is pure CBD. Sterling CBD is made from pure CBD isolate. We remove all the THC and unnecessary compounds, leaving only pure CBD. Reason number 2, backed by science. The U.S. Anti-Doping Agency, USADA, has approved CBD for U.S. Olympic athletes, but they only approve pure CBD, like Sterling CBD. Reason number 3, our organic hemp is FDA approved. At Sterling CBD, we quality control test at every manufacturing stage. We start with organic hemp plants and track them to our FDA-registered food-grade extraction facility. Our pure CBD products include capsules, isolates, lotions, and oils. We even have CBD pet products. You can find Sterling CBD at drernstscbd.com. Use the coupon code Dr. Ernst for 20% off your order.
What if we told you coffee was good for you?
Coffee is the single highest source of antioxidants in the Western diet. More antioxidants than kale, more antioxidants than 70% dark chocolate, and more antioxidants than blueberries.
In fact, what if we told you that coffee is really good for you?
Research shows that 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day dramatically enhances performance in high-intensity exercise, improves memory, reaction times, and overall cognitive function, decreases risk of depression, promotes weight loss by boosting metabolic rates, reduces risk of type 2 diabetes up to 40%, decreases risk of liver cancer up to 71%, reduces risk of Parkinson's up to 30%, and decreases risk of Alzheimer's up to 65%. Overall, coffee drinkers live longer. People who drink 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day have about a 15% lower risk of premature mortality compared to people who don't drink coffee.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. Hey, it's the show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you can be set free from your health problems. What we're talking about today are stones. Sometimes you deal with it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you need to know you should pretend you have one, because if you fix the stone issues now, you never get them. Gallstones and liver stones, talked about it, done. If you didn't get the opportunity to listen to that segment, wait till the camera's refreshed and you can replay the segment, or give it about maybe 4 or 5 hours. And on iTunes, where we host our podcast, you can download the show. For sake of time, I have to shift gears. We got to talk about kidneys and kidney stones. It's a huge topic, and it affects a lot of people. And we're starting to see in the functional world a shift in these kidney stones to a different cause. You go to WebMD, you know what it says? We don't really know where kidney stones come from. We know a lot of people get them. We think it's diet related, but we also don't really know. And a lot of times they'll say, even conventionally, there's nothing you can do to prevent a kidney stone. You just have to hope you never get one. Like, you know how you guys are like holding your fingers like, I hope today I'd never get a kidney stone. I hope. But then when you get one, you're like, oh, it's painful. So typically kidney stones are calcium-based and uric acid-based. But I want to throw a precaution out. It's not calcium that causes the stones. It's something called orates. Listen to this. Orates are found in stoned fruits. So if you're eating a fruit that has a pit and a stone on the inside, apricot, a peach, a mango, you name it, there's a lot of orates in that fruit. And what happens is, as your orate level climbs, it binds to calcium. And your body wants to get rid of the orates because they're toxic. So the kidney goes, look at the orate. Well, it's got calcium with it. Okay, pull it. And if your kidneys are sluggish, which I hate to say this, there's estimates that about 20% of Americans have actually kidney failure and they don't even know they have it. Early signs of kidney disease. They're not producing enough urine. The urine is extremely dark, like an amber beer. And they're just like, well, I guess I just didn't drink enough water today. And that's a really big problem if your urine's really dark, yellow, brownish, tan. Okay, it means your kidneys are shutting down. Or you're severely dehydrated, which, again, 75% of Americans are. But watch this. When you're dehydrated, what are your kidneys doing? They're shutting down because they're going, there's nothing flowing through us. If your kidneys dry up, we get stones. Another thing we see a lot of is uric acid stones. And I want to spend just a little bit of time on this because when I was in school and training and doing all my medical, stuff, we were always told the most common stone is a calcium stone. It's because people eat too much calcium and that their urine becomes too acidic, and so the calcium comes out and it makes a stone. And that's cool because it makes sense, but the problem is we start seeing most people's test comes back with the urinalysis and it says they have a uric acid stone. And we would be like, well, we were taught that means you have gout. And you know what the patient says? I don't have gout. None of my toes are swollen. I have no issues with my joints. I don't think I have gout. And then we run their uric acid levels and we see it in the blood, it's okay, but in the urine, there's a ton of it. Here's what it means. You're eating way too much protein, number one, and you're eating too much fructose. Now, why are we seeing more and more of this today and not 10 years ago or 12 years ago or 17 years ago when I was in school? Because there's more high fructose corn syrup in food now than ever before. There's more fructose in food than ever before. Look, I hate to say it. If you're one of these healthy people who are like, oh, it's agave. I put agave on my whole grain oatmeal. That's a liquid fructose. Well, I use grade A organic maple syrup instead of sugar, Dr. Ernst. That's healthier, right? No, worse, 100% fructose. Fructose elevates uric acid. You eat a lot of protein, you elevate uric acid. You know the beef I have with all these paleo people? Protein for breakfast, protein for lunch, protein snacks, nuts and seeds for dinner, and also protein as a, whatever. They just eat protein all the time. Uric acid will elevate when you eat too much protein, and it leads to uric acid stones, which causes kidney stones, and we're seeing that more and more and more today. So how do we prevent all this stuff? Number one, divorce the lie that you can't prevent a kidney stone from forming. You can. And understand that the number one reason, I'm going to throw this out there, all people that have kidney stones are dehydrated. Why? Because if there was enough flow going through those kidneys, there would be no ability for it to congeal together and sit in the kidney. If you are not hydrated, you're going to get kidney stones. It's the number one risk factor. It's the number one source. And in fact, the National Kidney Institute, which is part of the National Institutes of Health, says, ready? That if you collect all your urine, you would have about 2 quarts within a 24-hour window. 2 quarts. So the problem is that if you're not drinking 2 quarts of water, you're not replenishing what you just excreted. Now, understand the logic. You might be like, well, I drink more than 2 quarts. But here's the problem. A lot of people don't. So if 2 quarts come out and only 1 quart goes in, That's a deficit. Let me use an analogy. If $100 comes out and only $50 goes in, you're going to run out of money soon. If 2 quarts of urine come out and only 1 quart of water goes in, you're going to run out and you're going to be dehydrated. If your urine is dark yellow, brown, or looks like a good amber bock beer, you're dehydrated. Okay? Every person's requirement for water is different. This whole idea of drink 8 glasses of water and you'll be hydrated, if you weigh 220 pounds, no, not 8 glasses, 22 glasses. Okay, so just understand, it is half your body weight in ounces to stay at your current hydration rate. So if you're 200 pounds, 100 ounces will keep you at your current. To hydrate, you got to add at least another quarter on top of that. So you would go, oh God, 120 ounces? That's a gallon a day. Most of you barely drink a gallon. Number 2. Making sure we never end up with kidney stones. Magnesium is extremely important to regulate your kidney's ability to detox. Look, I'm just going to throw it to you this way. There's research that says magnesium does 300 chemical reactions in the body. Everything from sleep to bone formation to the ability for you to go to the bathroom and to keep your kidneys healthy. It plays an extremely important role in your ability to absorb calcium back into your blood so it doesn't hang out in the kidneys, causing those calcium orate stones and oxalate stones. And also it helps to increase the flow through your kidneys. So what are really good kidney foods? Spinach, Swiss chard, and even things like pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, and sesame seeds. Avocados, while they have a pit, are less of a fruit. I know it's a fruit by definition, but they're more of a fattier vegetable-style fruit, have been shown also to increase magnesium and help to get rid of kidney stones. It's estimated that 80% of the U.S. population is deficient in magnesium. 80% deficient in magnesium. Another good source of magnesium that you guys will love is dark, raw chocolate, but has to be 95% or 100%. A Hershey bar, it's like 20% chocolate. It's got to be 100% dark raw, 95%. You can find them. Just go to like your local health food stores and say, where is the bitterest, most highest percent cacao chocolate? I like the one that's called Midnight, and that's actually the name of it, Midnight, because it's 100%. And you can understand the concept. It's dark. In fact, it's like black. And guess what? There's like no sugar in it. And if you've never had a no-sugar chocolate bar, you're going to eat it and go, oh, it's terrible. But if you are now free of your sugar addiction, you're going to eat it and go, oh, my God, it's amazing. It's amazing. Okay? That's why we got to get rid of sugar from our diets, because guess what? Fructose. And here's the thing. Soda, so carbonated things like Pepsi, Coke, and Mountain Dew, and I don't even, Fresca, and what else are there? Sprite, I don't know. I don't drink this stuff, so I don't even know anymore. It's all high fructose corn syrup. The reason people say that when I have a lot of kidney stones, the doctor's like, you drink a lot of Coke and Pepsi? Yeah. Well, yeah, that's why you have a kidney stone. It's not because the Coke or Pepsi does it. It's the high fructose corn syrup elevates the uric acid, and then that creates an issue. There was a South African study, listen to this, that found that if you drink 1 can of carbonated beverages, it increases your likelihood of having kidney stones by 40%. 1 can. And so we want to make sure we also avoid all those sort of stimulants and irritants and aggravants for kidney stones, which include all of our inflammatory foods. So again, remember, we talked that you'll get gallstones and liver stones if you eat inflammatory food because they excessively produce cholesterol and it blogs it all up. If you eat a lot of inflammatory foods, well, your kidneys become inflamed. And here's the deal with this. When your sinuses are inflamed, the sinus solutions and fluids don't drain properly. So what you get is this kind of like, and you're all clogged up, right? Sinus inflammation, clogged. Now imagine kidney inflammation. That kidney's going, but you can't hear it or feel it because it's inside your abdominal cavity. But it's trying to pull all those toxins, the urea, the nitrogen, all the chemicals that you have in your blood, and it's trying to get it out into the toilet. And so what happens is inflammation will decrease kidney function. So we want to eat all those anti-inflammatory foods. We talked about them. Cut out the grains. No more bread, wheat, rice, corn, soy. Big one. Soy. Huge for kidney stones. Oats and oatmeal. Huge because they're inflammatory. We want to replace that instead with vegetables, nuts and seeds, and the high-quality fatty plants. Avocado, coconut, chia, hemp, and flax. Phenomenal. Okay, and then we want to understand one thing. I'm going to leave you guys with this today. Okay, we got about 2 minutes. Ready? The number one reason that I see functionally people have kidney stones when they eat a healthy diet, or they say like, I don't understand, I've been keto and I'm fasting and I still have a gallstone. Ready? Neurological inflammation can create issues within any organ in your body. If your kidney nerves are inflamed because your spine's out of alignment, you have a disc issue in your back, you have scoliosis, you inflame the nerve, the kidney's being told what to do by the nerves. So if the nerve's inflamed, the kidney's inflamed. I tend to see people with kidney stones have back issues, low back issues, L1, L2, L3 specifically. I tend to see people with liver and gallbladder issues have mid-thoracic shoulder blades. My pain is here, it's burning. They get a massage, it goes away, but then it comes right back. Neurological problems can lead to stones as well. So we have nerves causing stones. We have diet causing stones. We have the dehydration causing stones. We have estrogen dominance causing stones. Can you see how you have to investigate what's going on with you? If you want to heal, simple. Join me for my webinar. It's Saturday, the 6th of February. It's at 10 a.m. in the morning. It's absolutely free. If you tell me what you have going on, I'll show you the top things you can do to test it, to find out what's causing it, and what you can do to set yourself free. Remember, you need to be the doctor. You need to be the one to do it. You just might need somebody to show you what to do and how to do it, and then you go do it. Get the knowledge, take action, your body heals all the time. It's the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. I want you to pick up the phone and call 704-906-2094 right now. 704-906-2094. Hey guys, thanks so much. I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.